The mistake that's happening in the Caribbean right now is the same thing. They don't think. They just copy. Oh, they hear digital transformation, and all of a sudden you're paying consultants to do digital transformation. It's a huge mistake, and they're going to fail. Because what you have to do is how the thing about applied intelligence. Applied intelligence means how you apply intelligence, how you apply technology, how you apply thinking to execute and get what you want. So as you know, you're a strategy guy. Strategy always comes first. Okay, so What is your strategy? If you have no strategy, it doesn't matter. Technology is just something that you're going to use. So for example, tourism, okay, let's go through it. Tourism, there is no economy in the world that's created a middle-class economy based on tourism. In the Caribbean specifically, after independence, tourism was only seen as something that they said, okay, now, it'll be something that will help the economies grow. No, it wasn't. It was essentially, for Europeans and everybody to come back and have somewhere to go, and that was their tourism thing. But tourism, okay, does not create wealth, because if you look at it, you're not producing anything. Okay, it's a service industry. It's low wages. And a lot of the people who own the hotels or whatnot are not even from the Caribbean. So what happens, that capital leaves the region, right? And the sales and the marketing and the bookings take place outside the region. So there's no wealth created for the people in the Caribbean. Now, if you go to agriculture, historically, agriculture is what leads every society. The ability of a society to feed itself first is the first sign of a productive, healthy society. If you can't feed yourself. Now, if you break it down this way, agriculture creates wealth. It did for the colonizers. I mean, they built plantations. They created wealth. What do you think paid for all those castles? What do you think paid for Buckingham Palace and all those castles the Queen is staying? It's the Caribbean, Africa. Okay, it's all the colonized. It's called the colonized world. Barbados, at the end of the 17th century, was the richest colony in the world with all the plantations. So land and agriculture has always been a creator of wealth. We fool ourselves by not thinking and listening to what other people tell us. But don't forget, those other people are competing with us. So why would you be listening to your competitor? So the creation of wealth lies in agriculture. Now, in the digital world, okay, what has to happen now is you have to understand how to create an export growth economy. So, for example, Grenada is the island of spice. We have all these spices. The spice business is something I did. I wrote some stuff on that. I think the spice business is about a $15 to $20 billion a year business, just spices alone. We're the island of spice, but we have no exportation of that spice. We have no marketing of that spice. What we should be doing is should be using data science technologies. We should be using artificial technology to find the demand areas around the world. And once we find the demand areas around the world, okay, come back and understand how we can process these to higher value added products. So, for example, if you now, instead of, traditional farming is inefficient. Okay. We now have to move to greenhouse farming. Okay. And the greenhouse farming, we could still use the sunlight, right? And we have an advantage over greenhouse farming in Canada and places around the world is huge right now. But the difference is our cost base will be lower because we don't got to pay for heat in the winter and a whole bunch of different things. So if we could now take our natural resources, apply technology to it, be able to first feed ourselves, and then the surplus of that we export. That's how we create wealth and how we create hard dollars for the economy. And those entrepreneurs in the ag tech economy, now they become the wealthy, instead of the wealthy plantation owners, now you have the wealthy homegrown in Grenada, right? Agricultural entrepreneurs. These people create wealth, okay? They create a middle class, they help create a middle class economy. They give jobs to everybody. People can now, get a mortgage, buy a home, pay for a car, send their kids to school, and that's how we progress. But we can't progress in an economy, okay, that does not create wealth, which tourism does not create wealth. It has not create wealth. Okay, all it creates is just big white elephant projects, and the people in the Caribbean don't get anything. You give you give these guys who come from outside, you give them sweet deals. They don't pay any tax, right? People stay in the resort, right? The local guy out there, restaurants are not getting it because it's all inclusive. So tourism is not a wealth creating, not a wealth creating economy for Caribbean nations. I think is where you want to start because you have a natural competitive advantage. So we have to understand and think. And you don't want to start with digital transformation. You want to start with a solid strategy, understand it, and then you apply intelligence and you apply technology and you apply digital to make it go. And that's how you have to think.